Hello everyone, this is Max. You're watching Equity Match online live pitch event. Today we have 4 great founders coming from all over Europe and our investor guest from New York. Before I'm introducing all of them and we start our event, you are watching us now as we stream on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook and X. For everyone who wants to come to pitch, just send an email to pitch@equitymatch.co and we'll be more than pleased to welcome you. And for any question you want to raise for our founders, just do it and we'll bring them to our founders during the session or maybe in the end when we have the Q&A. Now, as we start, I would like starting with introducing Matteo Costa, which is our investor guest. Matteo, please, if you want to give a short intro to yourself.
Absolutely. Hi, Max. Good to be back. My name is Matteo Costa. I am based in New York. I'm originally Italian like Max, and I spent the last few years of my professional life in corporate media. But I have started angel investing, so investing in early stage startups a couple of years ago. And the startup world has been very dear to me, even in my corporate experience. I have invested in companies that I call or I identify as having positive impact on society. So anything from sustainability to mental health to food tech. And at the moment, I'm consulting for startups and doing fractional work. I'm a Techstars mentor, so I really enjoy having these conversations with companies that are trying to constantly bring innovation to the planet, to the world.
Thank you so much, Matteo. Today we have a lot of innovation. So let's start with our founder number 1, Frank-Hagen Spanka, founder and CEO of hyba.Oxy, headquartered in Zurich, Switzerland, of course. Healthcare, seed around 5.3 million in Swiss franc is the ask, or how much Frank is fundraising. Frank, first of all, thank you so much for coming and welcome. If you want to give a short intro to yourself, after, don't wait for me, just go straight to pitch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Max. Hello, everybody. It's nice to meet you, and it's a pleasure for me to present you today hyba.Oxy. To my person, for some shorts, I'm a banker. I was working with big banks, Deutsche Bank and Landesbank and everything like this. And then since 20 years, I am also a founder of my own company. I'm developing other companies, especially in the golf market. So we're developing golf clubs and anything like this, and we're supporting the commercial parts. And now it's up to have a new start and to we developed a new company, and the company is called hyba.Oxy. And hyba.Oxy is the short name for hyperbaric oxygen or hyperbaric oxygen therapy. What does it mean? It's very close to say it's the hyperbaric oxygen therapy is the inhalation of pure or the medical oxygen in a hyperbaric chamber. And what does the benefit is of inhaling oxygen in a hyperbaric chamber? It multiplies the body's oxygen content by a factor of 11 to 14. And the second most important thing, it increases the depth of penetration into the tissues by a factor of 3 to 4. And this is, in summary, accelerates the cell metabolism. This is a scientific proven technique. And so it's has an old history. I'll show you in the next cases. And so there is no chemical or biological to get into the body. So we just use the self-healing power of the body. And so we use the supplying of oxygen content to heal the body and the brain with its own self-healing powers. In a short picture, I can show you what normally you inhale air and not oxygen. Air is only 26% of oxygen. This is normal. This is the first figure you see. And if you do a normal therapy, a normal oxygen therapy, it's possible to double the oxygen inside the body just to inhaling pure 100% oxygen. And the big difference is inhaling in a chamber, you see in the next photo, it's that you can multiply the oxygen content to 11 and 14 times. And this is a big difference. It's the only way to accelerate the cell metabolism. So there is another one for and sorry. So now we are back. And why we need oxygen? Oxygen you need in the body to have a cell metabolism. You need it to burn the promote growth factors and the vitamins. So oxygen is needed to fight bacteria or to inflammations. Because there is nothing outside, only the oxygen you need. The oxygen therapy is gentle, it's holistic, and it's sustainable. So everyone can use it, and there are no persons they can't use the oxygen therapy. And the interesting thing, it's not that we have a medical therapy that's new. The therapy, it's 100 years old. And since 60 years is in evidence-based manner for also for insurances and for clinics. But it's only used, and that's the difference to our concept, is it's only used by only a few clinics, and especially for the military. And it's not offered to everyone, and not everyone can use this or can buy the therapy and go in. So what we is doing, we opening this worldwide at the first time to have an oxygen therapy for everyone. And we have it's very important to say that the chamber we have is we use it as a medical instrument. There are some instruments or products in the market, but there are no medical instruments. We are using it as a medical instrument. So also my co-founder is the chief medical director of the Schultes Clinic in Zurich. It's one of the biggest clinics in the world for orthopedia. Now I'll show you some pictures in Gründung from the former part. This is a hyperbaric chamber, just to have a look-alike. This is 30 years old. It's in Istanbul. This is a girl. She got blind after surgery. This is a little bit more modern chamber. This is chambers, they use it in the hospitals. It's looking really ugly and not really comfortable for persons. They just to rehabilitate. And this is the look-alike from outside. You see the size of a hyperbaric chamber. It's not maybe you know it from the diving. This is the look-alike we will have. This is for our target group, especially others. The target group is very, very big. And so it's incredible large because everyone is weakened after the result of an illness or an accident. So that's the reason that you can use it for everyone in a real huge market. What we use it for a startup. At a startup, we are that a second mover, and we are preparing now our business operations, and we will start in the next months if the fundraising is completed. And for the fundraising, we are now searching for 5.3 million. The reason it's so high because the hardware is very expensive and also the installation. So that's the reason going to go beyond fundraising for 5.3 million. So I see time is blinking.
Frank, thank you so much. Matteo, please, I leave everything to you.
Thanks, Frank, for the presentation. I think I'll start with maybe a piece of advice. I think you spent way too much time on the science behind it, which I understand is important. As an investor, I missed a whole part of why the business could be attractive for someone to invest.
Yeah.
Business model, go-to-market strategy, competition. I mean, I guess you said you're the second in the market. There's a whole part that for me, if you have 5 minutes, is not clear. So I would encourage you to focus on those elements when you're pitching to investors, because again, like too much spent on the science behind it, which leads me to the first question, which is like, you mentioned there's a lot of like research data about the benefits, but like, how can you convince a consumer to go through this kind of like treatment, right? Like I always say that companies distinguish themselves between painkillers and vitamins. So nice to haves versus must haves. This feels like very much a nice to have. So what is the urgency that you can convey in the consumer to not buy your product, but go through the treatment to improve their health? I think that is a missing thing that you should like probably put in the deck. And like, I'd love to hear your thoughts about what is the selling point, the unique selling proposition for you to convey to consumers.
Thank you for your question. Yeah, it's really hard to explain in 5 minutes the science and the economic. You're right, and thank you for your tip, and I will post it. So the target group are for especially diabetics or elderly people. Elderly people, they have a very low cell metabolism, and if you increase the cell metabolism, you have a bigger chance you're going to come to maybe for example to have a surgery. A surgery for diabetics are really high risky, and if you have a hyperbaric oxygen before and afterwards, you're going to have a really lower risk to overlive a real complex surgery. Also elderly people, and the otherwise is the big target group. So this is the first group is rehabilitation and to get faster regenerated after maybe big illness. Also maybe if you had a COVID or something like that, you can regenerate really faster. And the second group, that's maybe the cash cow, and the target group in the future is the beauty and also the rejuvenation part, because you're going to get the telomerase. It's getting tougher if you had also hyperbaric oxygen therapy.
Got it. So I understand that this is difficult to convey. Another piece of advice here would be, instead of like saying the number of like years that it's been researched and the like qualitative benefits, if you have statistical number, recovery from surgery goes from, I'm just making it up, from 6 months to 2 months. And like, these are like the effective data-driven benefits that are going to convince people, hey, if I can like cut to a third the time of recovery from a surgery, from an illness, this is why I would like to buy your product or buy your service. Another question that I had that I mentioned earlier is like, what is your business model? I assume that you are selling to clinics, so it's a B2B. So are you selling the device? Is it licensing? Are you getting a cut of the revenues from the consumer? Like, how are you making money?
No, we are selling it the service, the therapy. We're selling offering the therapy and selling this to the patients. And we are collaborating with clinics, and also we sell it to the patients directly.
Okay, so you're not selling the machinery, the device to the clinics, it's yours. Okay, yeah. And so you're getting, I guess, the biggest chunk of the revenue, and the rest, like, you're paying the clinics to like have, like, is it what kind of like deal is it set up with the clinics?
Some search. If you have risky patients, it's also a benefit for the clinic to have a patient including prepared with a hyperbaric oxygen. So the clinics will send us the patients, and we will prepare them for the surgery. Or also if they have a complicated rehabilitation, we will get the patients afterwards. So, and also it's possible that persons come to us and say, I'm really weakened and I like to get tougher again, and they have also for a generation by their own therapy.
Got it. So there's kind of like a co-marketing mechanism here. You're promoting your services, but you're also relying on the clinics to promote your product right. for their patients.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Got it. The last question that I have, because you also mentioned it at the beginning, is like, what are your plans to scale the business? Because it's a very capital intensive one, right? Like, you need a lot of funding to develop the machinery. Yeah. Like, how fast can you get to market? Like, how much money you're going to need to keep raising in order to develop the hardware and the machines?
So that's right. It's the most interesting thing of the business model, and I missed it. You're totally right. Is we only building now the headquarter and the first center in Zurich. but the aim is to have a lot of more centers in the whole German-speaking countries at first, and also in Europe. So we are developing a franchise system to have different centers in whole Europe, and then we on all the big cities or suburbs, we can invite patients to have a hyperbaric oxygen. So it's we are offering and have the service, and on the other side, we will be franchised and cooperating with other doctors.
I see. What is, just out of curiosity, what is the cost of manufacturing a single room or machine, or I don't know how to define it?
The cost of the hardware will be 1.6 million, and then we also have around 1 million for installation, just to having the prepared hardware.
Okay, but so this is for one single unit. So when you go into the other market, like in the German.
Yeah, you one chamber within seats for 10 persons.
Got it. So it's like 1.5 plus another 1 million of installation. It's like 2.5, 2 something million for each unit. Right? It's very like putting yourself in the shoes of an investor. It means that either you generate a lot of revenue that self-fund your future machines, or it's a very capital intensive. It's going to require a lot of money from the investors to scale. So it could be a little bit scary for investors to look at this space.
Yeah, maybe not, because you can compare it very good with radiological centers. It's really same expensive, and they are very high profit centers, and they make money in 2 years. So you can compare it with radiological centers.
Got it. So the margin is high, like it's a profitable.
Very high. Very high. Yeah.
Okay. Because I know nothing about it. That's why I was like, well, it takes a lot of money. Yeah. That's all for me. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you for your question. Thank you.
Thank you, Matteo. Thank you, Frank. Frank, stay. Don't go, because we bring all of you back soon. Meanwhile, I'm our second founder, Lionel, founder and CEO of SyncLodge Ltd, London, UK. First SaaS entertainment industry, seed around £500,000. How's it going, Lionel?
Hello. Hi, Max. Very nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you so much for coming. Please, if you want to give an intro to yourself, and after you can go straight to pitch.
Okay. Hi. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. Thanks so much for being here. Yeah, as Max said, my name is Lionel Lodge. I am a co-founder and CEO of SyncLodge. I have decades of experience in the entertainment industry as a creator, as well as a business founder and a business manager. We at SyncLodge, we've actually identified. I should start with my. Let's go right into it. Can we have the deck? Okay, great. So at SyncLodge, we've identified a crucial gap in the tech landscape: the lack of a standardized project management approach for sync licensing, which is a core sector of the entertainment industry. For those of you who believe that every market that is worth investing in has its own unique workflow tool, think again. Sync licensing is a neglected sector that needs a digital transformation. Next slide. So what is sync licensing? Sync licensing is the intricate process of pairing music to film, TV, advertising, and video games. And for music supervisors, who are the gatekeepers, it's not just about selecting the right track, it's also about ensuring legal compliance when placing music into visual productions. This means this one role requires extremely different workflows on the legal, administrative, and creative sides. So as you can imagine, most music supervisors are generally people who love music. But what we have come to find is, because there is no standard operating procedure, because there's no CRM, there's no project management tool equivalent to their workflow, they find themselves in a frustrating and time-consuming manual process. This disjointed workflow not only detracts from their creative focus, but also burdens organizations with unnecessary administrative costs. So, next slide. So again, thinking in comparison to any other 12-figure industry, should working through isolated applications be normal? Should having an overly manual workflow in the face of an AI revolution be normal? Should asset leaks of what is considered extremely sensitive data be normal? Obviously, the answer is no. This unorganized workflow impacts the copyright holders with missed opportunities by having to deal with hundreds of daily requests via emails. It impacts music supervisors who work on multiple projects at the same time, sometimes up to 30 projects, and find themselves completely bogged down working around the clock to ensure they don't miss deadlines. And of course, the visual production companies themselves face challenges with inefficient processes, lacking the streamlined workflows of more established business units in their organizations. SyncLodge is the digital transformation the industry needs. Designed and built with input from over 200 industry professionals, SyncLodge has been recognized as highly innovative and continually winning global innovation awards. So transitioning from outdated methods to modern capabilities, SyncLodge simplifies music supervision. The old way has music supervisors navigating through multiple applications, often encountering the limitations of overly broad platforms like Spotify, or the inconvenience of juggling numerous tabs to manage a single workflow. In stark contrast, SyncLodge stands out as the first full-service sync licensing platform. It's akin to the distinction between folks working through Excel or working on paper to folks utilizing a comprehensive CRM system. And the impact of this transition within the industry is monumental. So why SyncLodge? Because we unify the workflow and the teams, automating the tedious administrative tasks, freeing up music supervisors to focus on creativity and easily meet deadlines without compromising security. Why now? Because there's no active competitor addressing this critical need. The opportunity is vast with unprecedented growth, and the industry needs a standardized system. So copyright owners love SyncLodge. Music supervisors love SyncLodge. And visual production companies love SyncLodge. This is evident in the glowing reviews from industry professionals. I'll just pause on there for a sec so you can see that. Maybe look at some of those. Okay. With a seasoned leadership team and a deep understanding of the industry, SyncLodge is built for success. That's our focus. If you take a look at the industry specs, you can see that the white space is tremendously large. In industry value and expected growth, the industry is booming and will continue to grow for years to come. We are seeking 500,000 British pounds to fuel our growth and solidify our position in the market. Thank you for listening. If you want to be involved in solving one of the last unoccupied industry workflows, please keep this conversation going with us. We would love to explore potential partnerships and answer any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lionel. I leave all the questions to Matteo.
Great.
Thank Lionel for your presentation. I have 3 questions for you. The first one is similar to what I asked to the previous startup, hyba.Oxy. What was missing for me from the pitch deck is like, how are you making money? What is your business model?
Yes, our business model, we've left that out. And we do say that we would like to, because this is live, I can share certain things, but there are certain things on the financial side we'd rather share directly with any potential investors. So we have 5 revenue model tiers. And one is for a percentage of the license fee from the paid by the copyright owners after the deal is done. So it's they make money, so we make a little bit. The other one is enterprise white label SaaS, and to have larger organizations on the music copyright holder side, they can integrate our system into their system, so music supervisors can go to their platform, manage everything to do with their sync licensing project, and the enterprise can also manage everything in-house as far as the teams working, how their assets are performing, and all of this sort of thing. Then we also have a industry advertising model. We have a third-party service referral fee model. There's also the data We are positioned to become one of the biggest databases on what's going on in sync licensing globally. And then the last one is facilitating the transfer of the fees in fintech. For that, we use a third-party service.
Got it. I understand that you are willing to share this information upon request, but I think it's important to, in the investor deck, to show how you guys. This is all very valuable information, and I think in the eyes of an investor, understanding how you guys make money is really important because there's a lot about the kind of like the value that you bring to the industry and to all the stakeholders with the testimonials, but like how at the end of the day are you gonna make money? So I think that's important. The other question that I had is, what is your target consumer, or rather, what is your target customer? Like, who are you trying to sell your product to? And as a consequence, what is your go-to-market strategy? How are you planning to get to those customers?
Okay, well, first of all, we because of the different tiers of revenue models, on the enterprise client side, these are the music copyright holders. Okay, publishing companies, record companies, and other services like SoundCloud and services like this. As far as just on SyncLodge, people coming to our platform, our main focus is on the needs of the visual production companies and the music supervisors. Okay, but we model the whole thing a little bit like Amazon in the early days before they had Amazon Prime. So we do not charge the buyers. So we have built state-of-art tools designed we built them, but designed by the industry people, and we give it to them totally for free. All right. So the idea is not to be have a niche sector of the industry. We are aiming to become the global standard, so that all music sync licensing goes through our system. And if they are doing it directly on our platform, then we charge a percentage to the copyright owners. They're just selling the music. If it's an enterprise for the music copyright holders, then it is a subscription. It's a license.
Got it. But still, I'm not clear how what is your strategy to kind of like sell to those clients? Like, is it through Salesforce? Is it like outbound calls? Is it relationships? Is it like, is there any, sort of like marketing, like corporate marketing that you're planning to have? Like, what is your?
Well, it is a relationship-based industry. And so I get invited to conferences in many parts of the world, in the States and the UK and Europe every year. I go to tons of them. Last year, I was on 59 flights to speak. I'm seen as an expert in the sync licensing sector. So I meet a lot of people, and anybody that comes across what we're doing, we get this huge influx of people signing up. But it's also dealing with, there's guilds. There's the guilds of producers. There's the directors guilds. There's the guilds of music supervisors that we are members of and we deal with. We go to their events. We get invited to their events. And so a lot of it is just personal networking. And we are part of the money we're looking for is to actually build up more representatives in certain centers. Right? So we have some people in different parts of the world that are representing us, but we need to build this up more, and they need to understand the industry. They need to have connections already. And so, we do have people earmarked for it, but it's financial.
Got it. Thank you for that. It makes sense. The last question that I had for you was, what is your moat? In other words, like, what prevents industry players, not necessarily the major record companies, but maybe the tech companies, the Spotifys, the SoundCloud, since you mentioned it, what prevents them from like building such a tool? Because they have more capital, they have more knowledge, they have more data, and then develop it and then sell it to other companies.
Okay, I love this question. When we were first talking about SyncLodge in the early days, when we were first getting in people advising us on what it should be, we got people to sign NDAs. Well, by the time we actually launched, we got rid of all of that. It will take another company years to catch up to us. And if it's a large company, it's going to cost them millions to catch up to us. And by that time, we're going to be so much further ahead from them. It's taken us over 4 years to build the system. That's how complex it is, and that's how large it is. So for anybody that wants to actually compete with us, I welcome that on. I wish them good luck, but I don't think they'll ever catch up with us.
Is that your exit strategy? Are you looking to develop this product, the service, to then potentially be bought by one of these companies, or?
Yes, there are some stakeholders in the industry that do buy certain services, and we've talked to a couple of these, and we feel that we are the missing link. And I do see within 3 to 5 years that we will get offers for a buyout. And it makes sense for some companies. Other companies, like some of the bigger record or publishing companies, I also think they should consider buying us, but I would not be happy with that because we would sell it if it was a good price, but it would limit what part of our agenda is to empower the creatives. And if a company like Universal was to buy it and just use it in-house for themselves, then that would actually limit its potential positive impact globally.
Totally. Thank you for everything. Good work, Lionel. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lionel. Thank you, Matteo. I'm moving to Lionel. Stay there. Don't go, right? We are bringing you back. I'm moving to third founder, Andrew Cameron, CEO, Discovered US, Netherlands and US, e-commerce, artisan marketplace, pre-A, late Series A round, 1 million in USD. How's it going, Andrew?
Very good, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Please, if you want to give an intro to yourself, and after you can go straight to pitch. Matteo will follow up.
Sure, brilliant. My name is Andrew Cameron. I'm originally from Australia, now living in Spain. I've been living in the Netherlands before. I got into the impact world because my sons were born around 10 years ago, and I transitioned from a corporate world and suddenly wanted to create a, better future for them and create a bigger difference. I originally started with a sustainable fashion marketplace based out of the Netherlands, and also work in consultancy when it comes to European and US grants. But for the last 2.5 years, I've been running Discovered, what I want to introduce to you today about. So Discovered, we are an online marketplace where we connect artisans from emerging countries and help them sell internationally to a global marketplace. We're really focused on empowering these artisans to really compete in the global marketplace. So we see this as a partnership with these artisans to take over all the stress of competing internationally, and we become their specialist growth partner. So where we are, Discovered was originally created because we saw through travel and partnerships in these developing countries that artisans were having a lot of challenges when it came to selling internationally. So we saw there's a lot of barriers to international markets. Obviously, there's investments, business loans, startup structures that are difficult in these developing countries. And when it comes to artisan products, specifically towards the jewelry products, there is a lot of high marketing costs, competitive market. There's a lot of challenges that come around that. So we saw this as a great opportunity to unite the artisans in almost a artisan collective and come together to compete at an international level. While doing this, we also saw the customers had similar challenges. One of the biggest issues they had is really finding quality products, being sure they're actually made from artisans from these countries. We've seen that even more challenging in the last few years with the rise of the, let's say, Asian Chinese marketplaces that are offering products for very low pricing, but typically machine made. And then also customers want to see that there's some trust and assurances when they're buying online from a product made from another country that they're going to get it and it's going to be what they're looking for. So what we decided to create was Discovered. And what we're really focused on with this is providing a direct global marketplace. Our big thing is making sure that artisans get the majority of the profit. So when I joined the business, it was around 35%. Now it's around 50% to try and create a more sustainable marketplace for us. But we've been really focused on helping artisans. We don't charge a listing fee. There's no upfront costs. There's only a percentage on each of the products sold. We've also been working a lot of made to order to try and reduce artisans' initial costs of having a lot of products available. For our customers, we're really working with artisans that we've pre-qualified. Majority of them are family generational businesses. They've been doing this for 2 or 3 generations. They've been creating unique products that are handmade that no one else has seen. And we provide a big variety of products with over 15,000 products available on the site. And we have over 2,000 5-star reviews, so we know people really like it. We are very much an impact business. So we are focused on really empowering these artisans. We work in partnership with them. We have our 3 pillars, which is making sure we have fair pricing. We are competitive, if not lower than the average pricing market, especially when it comes to the US. We make sure we pre-qualify all our artisans, so everything's ethically made, and that we provide a positive impact. Again, we look to basically provide our biggest savings when it comes to the retail market. So we don't actually charge as much when it comes to us ourselves, but we provide a better value for our customers. So that's through the direct-to-consumer, made-to-order, and streamlining our operations. The market is very large. Obviously, jewelry sales are quite big with over 250 billion. What we're really targeting is the gemstone sales. That's where we focus on our products, where we're able to provide quality and unique products. There is a lot of competitors, but also there's a lot of competitors that work together. So for instance, Novica, Globin, Sheen, these are the kind of products, the companies we've been working with, talking about exhibiting our products and partnering with them. There is a typical Etsy, AliExpress products competitors out there, but we are, let's say, competing against them from a value proposition. Oops, I went too quick. Our big thing is actually we've been in operation for over 10 years. In that time, we've generated over 3.3 million. We work with over 103 artisan businesses, and we've sent over 2 million to artisans since 2014. So we've been doing this for a while. I say we've stepped on every startup eggshell that possibly could have been in our place, and we know what to do and how to scale accordingly. This is a quick example of how we've helped the artisans. Some of them, since they've joined us, have gone from very small operations, 2, 5, 4 people, right up to 20, 25, generating, from 7 years ago, they were doing 6,000 a year. Now they're doing over 250, 300,000 through our platform. This is a quick example of seeing since the new management where I joined in took over, we've really scaled the business. We're looking for global sales, global growth, specifically on the US market. And yeah, we're a streamlined team of 4 to 5 key people and looking to grow. We are impact focused. I'm looking at the time. And a big thing for us, we're looking for 1 million on a 2 million pre-money valuation to really grow and scale the business. Thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure speaking.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Matteo, please.
Thank you, Andrew, for your presentation. I love the mission of supporting artists. I have a lot of artist friends here in New York. Not necessarily in the gemstone business, but definitely in the crafting, in the arts and crafts. I'm curious about a few things. First of all, you mentioned that you generated 30-something million revenues over 10 years. What are the margins of your business? Like, how much are you left with from all the revenue?
So to explain that in more details, it's 5 minutes is hard. The business was originally created by an NGO, so 2014, and they were very much focused on providing a higher percentage to the artisans. So that was around 70% of the listing price. I've slowly progressed that, and we're now at about a 50% of listing price to us. So typically the market average sits around that 50 to 70%. It's nice to be an impact. It's been great to have that mentality of saying that we're doing everything, but the reality in the competitive market to be sustainable as us as a marketplace is quite challenging. So we really need to be ideally around the 60 to 70%.
Got it. Okay. The other question is around logistics. Like, who handles the whole shipment and distribution of the products? Is it like on the clients, the artists or artisans, or you have a kind of like a distribution system?
So at the moment, the artisans directly send to the end consumer. So typically our focus in the US market. So they're sending from artisan to kind of the door of the consumer. We have discussed working with fulfillment partners. Some of our artisans have their own fulfillment partners. So we're looking to scale that. But we've noticed in order to keep our pricing down and the artisan risks lower, this has worked for us so far. But that's really why we're looking for funding, is to scale that up. We already have contacts with a fulfillment partner that can work with us. It's just a matter of having the finances and the stability to do.
Got it. Yeah, because like that, it's a good segue to my other question. Because like I'm surprised that after you've been in the business for 10 years and like you're, I guess, cash flow positive or like you're growing healthily, why are you all of a sudden looking for an investment? And what is the incentive for the investors to kind of like pitch in your business if like why would you want to? I mean, I know a bunch of companies nowadays with everything that is going on, has gone on with the private capital markets and VCs, like crazy valuation 2021. A lot of companies are trying to bootstrap and be profitable on their own. So why are you at this point looking for investments, and are you an investment? And then why are you willing to give up part of your freedom, or kind of stay at the conditions of the investors when you're already generating positive returns without them?
Yeah, I mean, two aspects. One, we noticed last year was very highly competitive. We weren't cash flow positive last year. It's something that we noticed that we weren't. We had some smaller investments from the current shareholders to really kind of bridge that. So from us, we basically spent all last year testing everything we could. We kind of found our little niche, but only really discovered that towards the end of last year. So it's kind of like recuperating that. Also, we know that as a marketplace like ourselves, if you really want to go from your doing 1 million in that range to really scaling up to 5 to 10 million, you do need a larger cash injection. We've seen, especially in the jewelry market, you really need to be quite aggressive in your marketing spend. And for us, we originally we're Dutch founded, so the shareholder base is predominantly around that region, with Germany included. But we're looking for a US partner or someone who has experience there to really scale that operations. The current shareholders are more NGO focused, let's say, with that slow and steady. We're looking to really scale that up and grow to a larger business, to have someone that can support us in that.
Got it. And so like the use of funds is as you mentioned, maybe logistics, marketing. Where are you planning to deploy the capital?
Exactly. It's mainly into logistics, marketing, operational changes. We already have one of our operational directors based out of India, marketing directors based out in Nepal. So we already have a feet on the ground in there, but we're looking to expand the operations through these countries. Mainly for us, it's about having the financial security and stability to scale. So when we see there's a successful campaign, successful marketing channel, let's say, we can really invest behind it heavily and get the best bang for buck, let's say, and then provide a better, higher quality service when it comes to quicker shipments, fulfillment, more control over that as well.
Okay. The last question, it's more of a curiosity. I'm wondering how you landed on that valuation, because raising 1 million for 2 million pre-money, which means a 3 million post. How did you get on that number? And it's kind of a weird conversion. Companies tend to raise less for a bigger valuation. So I'm just curious about your thought process.
Yeah. So I mean, let's say the core mentality comes from a European, especially a Dutch mindset. They're not US when it comes to evaluations, which are very high and crazy. They're more considerate. So typically when it comes to European or Dutch, it's usually 2 to 3 times revenue, which is where we're looking at. Also for us, we're impact focused. So we're wanting to see that an investment partner comes on board and gets enough of the business to really make it worth their while. We're not looking to just give them a tiny bit. We want to bring the right person in that understands the business, that sees the growth, that has enough to really make it worth their while, so that in the time they can get their return. So from us, it's more of a, current shareholders are great, they're flexible, willing to work with us, and we really want to bring someone else that wants to kind of kick it on to the next level.
Got it. Thank you, Andrew. This was great.
Pleasure. Cheers.
Thank you so much, Matteo, Andrew. So I'm moving to fourth, last, but of course not the least, founder, Michael Peters, CEO of SmartScaleHR, Vienna, Austria, HR Tech, pre-seed round, 150K in euro. How's it going, Michael?
Perfect. Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming. Please, if you want to give an intro, go straight to pitch. Thank you.
Cool. So, first of all, thank you very much for having me. My name is Michael. I'm the CEO and co-founder of SmartScaleHR. And I have been in HR leadership roles for the last 10 years, first in corporate and then in startups. And I have experienced some of the challenges HR leaders are facing today myself. So with that in mind, we started working on SmartScaleHR. And what are the challenges that we have identified these HR leaders are currently facing. The first one is talent density. So there is still the war for talent. You have two ways to deal with that. Either you recruit like hell, which is very costly, or you retain and develop your talents within the organization, and that's what we are betting on. The second is we can see that there is a shift in society and also in legislation towards more and more pay transparency. Just to name one, it's the European directive, which was issued in 2023 on equal pay for equal work, which needs to be transposed into national law by 2026. And the third, what we can see is the whole AI transformation. Since the advent of ChatGPT, we see that there is this huge change in the workforce, and there are huge expectations towards HR leaders to spearhead and lead that transformation, but they do not necessarily have the knowledge nor the tools to really do that. So that's why we came up here with the idea of SmartScaleHR to really redefine the HR processes within the talent management with the help of generative AI, with a strong focus on transparency and pay equity. So how do we do that? The first thing what we want to do is we are integrating the whole process. From my own experience, when you're coming up with the third tool or the seventh tool in the HR world and you want to roll it out within your organization, there's a lot of pushback from the rest of the organization saying, hey, I have my own 25 tools. I don't need another HR tool. So that's why we said, okay, let's include here really the whole process from defining a job architecture to make it as transparent as possible, defining the skills on the lowest level. Use that as an input for the performance management. Use here generative AI to increase the operational efficiency, but also the effectiveness, because we're taking out the whole fluff and really getting into the nitty-gritty details of performance. And then moving into the compensation area, where we are changing the way we're doing from being reactive as an HR leader to really lead here, and making here the compensation decision more transparent and more equitable. The fourth step that we have identified is that there's a huge effort and a huge need for leadership coaching and development, and also this we can solve with generative AI, thinking about an on-demand coach for my leaders, but also for my employees. The second thing is that we are using generative AI where it makes sense. It's not all AI that we are doing here, but there is a few superpowers that we are utilizing from generative AI, like identifying patterns that we are using throughout the whole process. And the last thing is that we are focusing on this transparency and pay equity topic, from how we are creating the career framework to make the performance management process more objective, and then making the whole decision around pay and pay equity here more documented and sustainable. What is, of course, very important for us is a clear commitment towards data protection and privacy. It is sensitive data, it's HR data, so that's definitely something we are having very close at the heart. If we're looking on the market, what we see at the moment, for us, the entry point will be VC-backed European startups with a size of 50 to 150 employees. Why? Because they are a strong job engine. They have a huge problem around the gender pay gap. And I think that is the overarching topic, is they are quite tech savvy. And I think that's the most important factor for the starting point. As we see the AI transformation evolving, we also see our market here expanding more and more into the European SME and the knowledge-intensive industry. Overall, from a market perspective, we see it as a quite attractive market. The whole global talent management software market is a growing one with an almost 12% CAGR year over year. If we're looking into the competition and in the landscape, it is a crowded market, that's for sure. How we are differentiating is predominantly with the three things I've mentioned before. It's the focus on the process, so not being a vertical point solution, but really integrating here the whole process, having this focus and being AI native with a strong focus on gender and pay equity. Who is the team behind that? So we're just at the beginning. My experience is from the business side, from the industry, and I have two co-founders who are more from the technical side. So we think it's a perfect mix of the knowledge we are bringing here together to bring this vision up. And we're currently looking for 150,000 investment. It's really, we are just at the beginning. So we're currently in the stage of building the platform and already interacting with customers on the marketing side. So we're using that money to fuel that growth. So thank you very much. I think perfectly in time.
Absolutely on time. Matteo, all to you.
Thank you, Michael, for your presentation. The first question is, again, the same one that I asked to all the other companies. How do you make money? Like, this is such an important thing. Like, I don't understand why none of you have it in their pitch deck. Like, how am I supposed to like be attracted to an investment if I don't know how you guys make money?
No, makes absolutely sense. And yeah, I was laughing about myself in the pitch deck just because I also missed it. So it's a subscription. It's a SaaS subscription based per use or per month charge that we are charging here for the customers.
Got it. Okay. I want to drill down a little bit on your on what you listed as, you know, differentiating factor on two of them specifically. The first one is on the gender pay gap. Can you please elaborate how you are uniquely positioned to address that? Because it feels to me that it's more of a company issue and not like the solution is not necessarily the tool, but comes from the company. So I'm curious to hear how you're planning to tackle that.
No, very good point. The way we see it is that the gender pay gap, the number at the end, is just a final outcome. There is some structural issues that we need to tackle, and that's exactly what we want to address here. So thinking about the first step, about the job grading, we already start here to see that there might be some effects that is impacting the gender pay gap at the end of the process. So the way we have job segregation, if we identify that 80% of my female working population is in the support function versus the rest in the main domain, that's an issue, that's a structural issue that we want to highlight. Or if you have identified that within your job gradings, predominantly your female workers are in the level 1, 2, 3, that's already a structural issue that we want to address at that point of time, so that will have a positive impact down the line on the last number, which is the gender pay gap calculation.
Got it. Interesting. I like that. The other pillar of differentiation is AI. I mean, obviously, it's such a hyped topic and a buzzword, and everybody's integrating AI. So what prevents other companies, from doing the same? You said it's a crowded market. Like, what is your, how are you different from like other companies, other HR software companies, from implementing like an AI tool and just disrupt what you guys are doing?
Right. So AI is for us, a tool. And it's not that we are an AI company. We are not inventing here a new foundation model, but we are using it where it makes sense. So the way we are interacting with the software will be in a chatbot way. So we will have this interaction like a ChatGPT, like you are used right now, and that's the way we are integrating here. There are a few superpowers that you can use, and we will use them. I've mentioned that identifying patterns, identifying sentiments in the language that you're using. That's where we will use it. We're not saying that this is the only differentiator against someone else. Everyone can integrate with OpenAI and use ChatGPT for summarizing, I don't know, whatever. But here we are thinking of, for example, when we think about the performance management, instead of me sitting in front of my old survey and filling it out and don't know exactly what to write, I've already trained my AI here to support me in coming up. Hey, what has actually happened in the last 6 months that I'm currently under review? And that's the way we are using it compared to just taking a small part and say, okay, here we are taking it out, send it over to OpenAI, and then getting a summary back. So we're really natively integrating it into the program. No,
that makes sense. Again, like, it feels to me that it's a feature more than a differentiator, because like a lot of companies can implement that. But on this point, and because you brought it up, the data privacy, how are you handling the management of how you train the model with, I guess, clients' data, with like what you can ingest, and like how do you keep those separate and protected?
Yeah, perfect. Very good question. So the first thing is you have a ring-fenced instance of the AI. So we are not, with your data, you're not training any foundation model, neither our that we are using internally, nor OpenAI or any other third party that we are using. So that is something which we can ensure. The data is stored within the European Union, so it's all under GDPR. So it's also not going out of the European Union. So that is, I think, a very important factor when you're thinking about how we are interacting, especially now with OpenAI. The second thing is we are not training a new model with your data. We are using a technology called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. I always like to explain it this way. You can either go to the library and learn it by heart. That's what you would do to fine tune and to train your own model. Or you let the model know which book to take out, which page to open up, and then use that page and the information on that page just for this use case. And that's exactly what we are doing. So we are never training the data, or we are never using the data to train any of the models.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. The last question that I have is also on the funding, similar to the previous company. I'm just curious, like, why only 100? I understand it's a European market, but 150,000 is like very, very little money, especially if I remember your slide, where you're planning to deploy, like you want to hire top talent, you want to secure the grant, you want to develop the GTM playbook, you want to build a product. Like, what is your runway? How far is it going to get you 150,000? I feel like it's like 6 months. I don't know.
Actually, I mean, we are really just at the beginning, right? So we are currently in the stage of building, all of the three streams. Either it's financing, product development, and also sales and marketing all at the same time. So with this first initial investment, we basically prepare ourselves for the first real round, so having a real pre-seed. We call this round a business angel round to get it started. And then with a much better traction, we have already one customer on an LOE-based closed, even pre-product. But we see here a huge demand on the market, so that's why we said, okay, let's start small now, building the product, getting up and running, and end of year starting then the bigger round, but with better KPIs and better traction.
So you think that this, if you raise 150, is going to take you till the end of this year, and then you're going to start another round? Yeah. My only point is that I understand that you want to start from business angels and like small, but sometimes the effort that you put in raising the money, like, and then starting another round soon after, like, it's very energy consuming. So sometimes it might be worth going for like a bigger splash or like a bigger raise, so that you're like at least covered for, let's say, 12, 18 months. So you don't need to worry about the future round. I understand you want to test the market, but sometimes it feels to me that 150 like is really, really like, it's not going to get you very far. So that was the reason of my question.
Right. No, good points, definitely. Awesome.
Thank you, Michael.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Matteo. Michael, stay there. We bring now all the other founders. And let me start with Frank. Frank, in 20, maximum 30 seconds, convincing Matteo, all the investors watching, why invest in your startup? What would you like to say?
Thank you. The summary is easy. hyba.Oxy offers hyperbaric oxygen therapy as a rehabilitation tool for the first time as a medical service, both for clinics and for all private individuals, freely available for the first time. HBO therapy accelerates cell metabolism and thus all healing and rehabilitation processes of a weakened body or diseased brain after an accident, complex surgery, or after serious illness. In some cases, HBO therapy is the only possibility for sustainable rehabilitation. In any case, it reduces downtime up to 70%. In addition, the acceleration of cell regeneration will help to be part of the mega trend and a mega market of rejuvenation and longevity. hyba.Oxy will initially be offered in Zurich, in the hotspot of international clinics, and in the next step in all cities in German-speaking countries, as well as through franchises such as doctors in rural areas. With hyba.Oxy, you reboot your body.
Thank you so much, Frank. Lionel.
Hi. So we at SyncLodge, we believe in the power of clarity to empower creatives on a global scale. The industry is projected to have an annual growth of 40% over the next 7 years, 40% per year growth over the next 7 years. I don't know any other industry that has these growth projections. It's a very exciting time, and we offer a very exciting opportunity for investors. Let's talk.
Thank you so much, Lionel. Andrew.
Yes. Given the current global conditions, world, everything what it is, I think it's a great opportunity to invest in a company that has not only great growth potential, but investing in impact business that is doing great things for people all around the world. When you invest in us, you're not only supporting the business, but artisans and communities from developing countries to really create a stronger foundation where we all succeed in our lives.
Thank you, Andrew. Michael, you are the closing one.
Perfect. We would like to invite everyone joining the AI revolution in HR and redefining talent management processes with the help of generative AI and with the strong focus on pay equity and transparency.
Thank you, Michael. Michael, Frank, Andrew, Lionel, and Matteo, thank you so much for being with us today. It's been an absolute session. I really enjoyed, as I'm sure any watching today. For everyone, again, who wants to see from the beginning this pitch event, you can go to our YouTube channel where you can find these 109, all the previous one. And you can go directly in touch with our funders. We don't charge any form of success fee. We don't charge any fee at all, actually. This is a complimentary service that we give to the funders because we love them. So you can go straight in touch with them because you have all the information. Of course, if you come to us, we are more than happy to make a warm introduction. Again, thank you to everyone. I'll see you next week and happy Easter.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.